Right, shalom, shalom. First, I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Waharakah, Kodash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and honors to you, brothers out there in the highways and the byways, teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Now, we live in a world that's, extremely wicked. It's demonic, it's corrupt. The way of life has been corrupted in the earth. And, a lot of people, they think that you could pick this ruler or pick this ruler, pick this politician, pick that politician, and somehow things are going to get better. Not understanding that the root of the problem is in the man. All right. The root of the problem is in the man himself. So they can say what they want to say. They can come with capitalism, they can come with communism, they can come with socialism, and they have. They can apply whatever ism and schism they wanna push. At the end of the day, the result is gonna be the same, simply because they ain't right, and so whatever they bring forth is not gonna be right. And more to the point, because they're not right, they're not going to administer the word of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai of wisdom. They're gonna be carnal. They're gonna be wicked, which means they're gonna be abusive. They're gonna be oppressive. They're gonna be greedy. They're gonna be selfish. Because these are the things that come with pride, that come with carnality. They're gonna lack honor. They're gonna lack humility. They're gonna lack the wisdom and righteousness. The only wisdom they will possess is how to do wickedness, is how to oppress, how to lie, how to scheme, right? And so, for the world to dwell in righteousness, as the scripture shows, right, there has to be a change in the ruler and the nature of the ruler, not just a change in the ruler, because you could change from one ruler to another, and the world has been like that. You could change from one ruler to another, so you could go from one people to another. If the people that are put into rulership ain't right, then you're still gonna have wickedness. Even if it's the Israelites, if you put the Israelites in rulership without the new covenant, what inevitably happens is corruption. And this is known, this is a fact that's been shown in history. So this is why what's about to happen is so great. It's such a magnificent event, because it's going to set a whole new precedent for the rest of eternity, that the Lord is going to put his sons, his perfect sons, his perfected sons in rulership over the earth. And that's going to change the whole spirit and the vibration of this earth. All right, to a whole different thing. This is Proverbs 29:2. It says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. Because if a wicked ruler, right, is only gonna bring death and pain and judgment with his rule. Just like Esau Edom's gonna manifest wickedness, right? He's gonna multiply wickedness, right, on every level, till such a time is that own wickedness becomes the whipping stick, and even then the Lord steps in and adds more judgment on top of that, and the people will suffer under that, as is what is happening now. See, Esau's glorifying himself because we got mobile phones, but the earth is literally about to enter into the second death, and he's the one that's leading it there. Peep that. Let's get Sirach 10:1. It says, a wise judge will instruct his people, right? And the government of a prudent man is well ordered. Now, I'm going to get into it, but this goes back into humility. The purpose of a ruler is not to just lean on carnal pride and ego and selfishness. When you're a ruler, there are perks that come with rulership, but there's also responsibilities and duties, and you actually have a responsibility and duty towards the people that you rule over, all right, to establish righteousness, to create an environment that brings blessings. You understand what I'm saying? And you do that through your rulership, through wise rulership and wise judgment. You instruct the people, so you're not gonna cause the people to do something that is gonna end up bringing judgment on them. Do you understand? Just because it is something you like, because you're corrupted in that way, or you profit from. So because you profit from it and you can receive the perks, you're gonna lead your people down a way which is destructive. All right. This is a wise job will instruct his people. And then so the wisdom comes from where? Humility, the fear of the Lord, the fear of the Lord, right? And the application of his word. That's what makes you wise. Now, in this world, that's not what makes you wise. The wisdom of the rulers of this world is the wisdom of manipulation. It's the wisdom of oppression. This whole world, all the people that are in power, who are in positions of influence of power, are only in those positions of influence of power based upon what they can get out of it. This is a fact. All these people that go into politics, right? They're not going into politics because they want to help the people in any way, shape, or form. That's just what they say. That's a lie. Politics is what rich businessmen do to gain more power and more wealth for themselves. And that's why the system of politics, no matter where you find it, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. These are facts. Just look at America, look at Britain, look at Europe, the system of democracy, which is supposed to be the system which represents the people, for the people, by the people. No, these people go into politics and they master the art of what? Manipulating, lying, scheming. And they always benefit. Right? No matter what happens, whether the economy goes up or down, no matter what happens, one thing you know for sure is there's a particular group of people within each nation that are getting richer. That's a fact. Like right now here in the UK is down all the way bad. It's down bad, 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 bad. The average person in the UK is through, and it's getting worse by the second. But this is what I do know: all them politicians you see on the TV, yeah, all these rich businessmen, all these elites in the UK are getting richer. That's a fact. They got richer. Look at all over the C19 business. All the billionaires got richer. Right? And the game of the earth is all about carnality. It's gain by any means necessary. And as long as you're gaining, you're winning, nothing else matters. There's no honor. There's no duty. There's only lies and deception and hypocrisy. That's what it's all based in. Now, in the kingdom of heaven, the rulers are not going to be hypocrites. We're not going to be acting. We won't have to put on an act of being honorable or act of being meek or an act. No, we simply will be. And so our actions will match our true character, which is a perfect character, as opposed to these devils. Their actions don't match the character that they speak because they're hypocrites. And that's all you're gonna get. So that's why when you're out here taking part in politics, you're 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 fighting a losing battle out here. You're exercising yourself in futility because none of these people, right, are fit to rule because they're all corrupt. That's the fact, and what's going to come from it? Well, exactly what you see. It says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. Right? There's a vibration that comes down from the top. This is why the nobility of a people is supposed to set a higher vibration and a standard, and that higher vibration and that standard is supposed to trickle on down to the bottom. It's not supposed to be from the bottom up. It's gonna be supposed to be from the top down. We live in a society where the most wicked and demonic people, the ungodly, are the ones that are prospering. No, you can find no bit better example than so-called Negroes. If you look at who would be considered our noble class, our nobility, it's a bunch of rappers, entertainers, and drug dealers. Those are the people who have the money and the resources to call themselves nobility. So they, in terms of economics and influence, they're the nobility. But in terms of being actually noble, the characteristics that should come with being the nobility, they're not noble, and this is the problem. So they have influence and power over our people through Esau, and you see how that goes. You look up the word noble, it means noble can describe someone with high moral qualities, a person of high social rank, or something excellent in appearance of character. Your nobility, your kings and rulers are supposed to be the people of the highest moral quality. They subsequently would also be the people with the money and the influence. We have the opposite. We have a people who have money and influence, so they got a noble social rank, but they don't have a noble character. And what does that breed? Right? Degradation of the people. Now, what is the Lord setting up? 144,000, 12,000 from each tribe of Israel, of perfect men, a perfect nobility, a nobility of the highest moral standards, a nobility of spiritually perfected men. And the difference, because that's going to be the highest order in the earth, the difference that's going to make on the earth and the spirit and the vibration of the earth is going to be like night and day, because we've never had that before. We've never seen that. The world actually being led by righteous and perfect men, as opposed to prideful, demonic, and corruptible men. All right. We've seen glimpses of it, but we've never seen it like that. Perfect. That's what's coming. Right? This is what Esau claims to be. He wants everyone to treat him like he's this perfect man that's ruling, but we know he's the devil. All right? This is why the meek shall inherit the earth. Rulers who are humble, not proud. All right? It says, as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein. An unwise king destroyeth his people. All right, Esau is the latest example of that. But through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. See, when you have a ruler who's humble, who's wise in the fear of the Lord, who is embedded with the word of the Lord and establishes that. That establishes the people, it establishes the city, and it wards off degradation, mourning, and destruction. All right? It says, the power of the Lord is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable, and that one is Yahweh Shai. Profitable. As it stands, the earth hasn't been profitable. The earth has been morally bankrupt. It's being bankrupted. It's in the red. It's going backward. It's been going backward. I ain't talking about no mobile phones. I ain't talking about no technology. I'm talking about the people and the way they live. Everything's been going backwards. It's just been wicked, murder after murder, theft after theft. It's going backward. It's in the red. That's why great judgment is coming. There's no profit. It's going to be profitable once Yahweh Shai claims dominion over all the dominions and establishes his government, beginning with King David and the 144,000. That's the righteous government of Israel, and Israel is going to be over all the other governments, and everything's going to trickle downhill, trickle down economics. All right? It says, in the hand of God is the prosperity of man, right? A true ruler will always remember that you are only a steward, and you're not the most high. So you must always be mindful of the Lord. You must always fear the Lord. These rulers they get into rulership, they don't care about the most high because they get puffed up and are proud and are filled with pride because of power they have over other men, and they forget the Lord. They forget the Lord, man. This is a carnal thing. Once you get gassed up because you got a bunch of gal all over your rod, you got a bunch of man that's dick riding as well because you got power. Because we're not gonna pretend that man don't dick ride too. Of course, whenever a man's got power and fame, the reason you get puffed up is because the gal them all want a dick ride, and the man them a dick riding too in a different way. Yeah, and you can get puffed up by that. You feel like you're the man, and you forget that, hold on, you ain't the man. There's someone who is above you, but you don't see that person. So all you see is all these sycophants and all the man gassing you up and the gal them that are gassing you up because you got the power and the influence and the fame. And you forget yourself. You start smelling yourself a little. You start smelling your own perfume too much, and then you guess what? You get filled with pride. And what comes next? We're gonna read it. What comes once pride enters into a man? Yo, wickedness. That's what's gonna come. In the hand of God is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. Bear not hatred to thy neighbor for every wrong, and do nothing at all by injurious practices. Pride is hateful before God and man, and by both doth one commit iniquity. You see? Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man, right? And that's another thing that comes with that pride. You become covetous. You think everything should belong to you, right? You believe everything is yours. For such an one setteth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth he casteth away his bowels. The physician cutteth off a long disease, and he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die. For when a man is dead, he shall inherit creeping things, beasts, and worms. And the beginning of pride is when one departeth from God, you start smelling yourself, and his heart is turned away from his maker. The carnal mind takes over. For pride, the spiritual mind will never depart from God. It's the carnal mind. For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abomination. And therefore the Lord brought upon them what? Strange calamities, and overthrew them utterly. This is the inevitability. The Lord have cast down the thrones of proud princes, and set up the meek in his stead. Now, when people think of meek, what does that mean? You just crawl around on your hands and feet all day? No. A humble person. What does it mean when it says the meek shall inherit the earth? You're a meek individual because you don't overstep, you don't overdo yourself. You always have the fear of the Lord. That's what it means by to be meek. To be meek means you put yourself in the correct position. That you ain't God, man. So that doesn't mean you get to do whatever you want or think whatever you want and establish your own lusts. You realize that you're a piece on the board, man. Relax yourself and humble yourself to the word of the Heavenly Father. So you're guided by what the Lord says and not what you think. based upon your own pride. The meek shall inherit the earth, and that's the elect. The meek shall inherit the earth. That's a key characteristic for a ruler, for a wise and righteous ruler, is to be meek, not proud. The Lord hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations and planted the lowly in their place. The Lord overthrew countries of the heathen and destroyed them to the foundations of the earth. All right? He took some of them away and destroyed them and have made their memorial to cease from the earth. Pride was not made for men, nor furious anger for them that are born of woman. Right? A meek ruler understands, because this whole journey of Israel into rulership, what's the one thing that we're going to really understand? That we're not there because we put ourselves there. We're there because the Lord put us there. That's meekness. The understanding that you didn't make yourself. The understanding that we didn't even perfect ourselves. The Lord perfected us through the new covenant. That brings humility. That understanding puts you, keeps you level-headed, man. And you don't start going over the top, because you could be an Israelite and proud because you don't understand. So you start thinking, oh yeah, well, I'm an Israelite, so da da da. You know, start screaming out Judah everywhere. You don't, and then you forget about the fact that the Lord made you an Israelite. You didn't make yourself an Israelite. You forget what you owe to the Lord. You forget the duty and the standard that comes with being an Israelite. And all you care about now is the perks, your lust that you wanna chase after. Yeah, that's not meekness, man. You understand? Meekness is your mind is always on the duty. Your mind is always on the standard. Your mind is always on the maker. And then you go forward from there. You don't stray too far from that, because you stray too far from that, you enter into the pride zone, and you know what happens there. Okay? So we're gonna get to the point where the world is gonna have something that it's never really had before in its perfection, and that's righteous rulership, man. And it's gonna be a beauty to behold. The kingdom of heaven is where it's at. That's for everyone. Ultimately, you don't want to be in this kingdom. You want to be in the kingdom of heaven. Now, if you're Esau, the problem for Esau is that he is not going to be granted the mercy to dwell in the kingdom of heaven under that righteous rulership any longer than he's going to be punished. And that's his problem. But even the other nations, they're gonna praise Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai every day. They're gonna thank the Lord that the Lord established his perfect sons in rulership over the earth. Because there ain't nothing better than righteous rulership. The alternative is this. And in the end, everybody burns. In this, you know what I'm saying? It don't work, man. It's not profitable. All right, it's gonna crash. So with that, I'm gonna say shalom.